Despite thousands of reported UFO encounters, alien abduction claims, and strange signals from space, one question remains: why has no undeniable proof surfaced? Scientists call this the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the high probability of intelligent life and the lack of confirmed contact. Some suggest advanced civilizations deliberately avoid us, enforcing a cosmic quarantine. Others propose we're living in a kind of simulation where evidence of extraterrestrials is intentionally obscured. Perhaps the truth is darker, that humans have already made contact, but the information is so disruptive it must remain hidden. The Great Silence may not be silence at all, but careful control of what reaches the public. And if that's the case, then every incident, every cover-up, every strange encounter may just be fragments of a larger story one humanity is not yet ready to face. For decades, witnesses of UFO phenomena have reported being visited by mysterious figures known as the Men in Black. These individuals often appear soon after sightings, dressed in black suits, driving unmarked cars, and demanding silence. Witnesses describe them as eerily emotionless, with strange speech patterns and sometimes unnatural physical features. Some accounts even suggest they aren't human at all, but rather synthetic beings sent to suppress the truth. Victims claim intimidation, threats, and even memory manipulation after encounters with the Men in Black. Government agencies deny their existence, yet stories surface across cultures, spanning generations. If real, these operatives could represent a hidden arm of authority tasked with ensuring humanity learns the full scope of alien contact. Or perhaps they are something even darker, protecting not our governments, but the interests of those watching from the stars. While Earth's moon appears lifeless, some researchers argue it may not be what it seems at all. The hollow moon theory suggests that the moon is either partially hollow or even an artificial structure placed in orbit as an observation post. The theory gained traction after Apollo mission data revealed unusual seismic activity when struck by lunar modules. The moon rang like a bell for hours, unlike any natural celestial body. Additionally, its size and orbit are considered too perfect to be a cosmic coincidence. Ancient myths from multiple cultures describe the arrival of the moon as a relatively recent event in human history. If the moon is artificial, who placed it there and why? Is it an ancient alien construct monitoring Earth? Or something even stranger? The unsettling truth may be just out of reach, hidden in plain sight above our skies. Deep beneath Camp Hero in Montauk, New York, lies a story of forbidden experiments that allegedly push the limits of human consciousness. Whistleblowers claim the US government conducted time travel and mind control experiments there throughout the 1970s and 80s. Subjects, many of them children, were reportedly exposed to psychic training, electromagnetic fields, and even forced into time portals. Survivors describe nightmarish visions of alternate realities, encounters with monstrous beings, and missions into different eras. One recurring account involves a creature and energy-based entity that allegedly broke free during an experiment, wreaking havoc before disappearing. Though mainstream history dismisses Montauk, a mere urban legend, its connection to declassified CIA projects like MK-Ultra lends credibility. Could Montauk be the missing link between psychological warfare research and attempts to harness powers beyond the known limits of space and time? Among conspiracy theories, none is as provocative as Project Blue Beam. The idea suggests a secret plan by global powers to simulate a massive alien invasion or divine event using advanced holographic technology. According to leaked documents, the project would involve projecting giant images into the sky, combined with directed energy weapons and mind control frequencies, convincing humanity that an extraterrestrial or even godlike being had arrived. The ultimate goal: to unite the world under a single authoritarian rule. Skeptics dismiss Blue Beam as paranoid fantasy. Yet with today's rapid technological advancements in holograms, AI, and psychological warfare, some believe the line between science fiction and reality grows dangerously thin. If such a project exists, it could explain past mass sightings, testing public reaction to false alien visitations. Could humanity's biggest first contact moment be nothing more than an elaborate illusion? In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out into the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. Days later, their camp was found abandoned, their tent ripped open from the inside. The hikers' bodies were discovered scattered across the snow, some half-dressed, others with mysterious injuries. One victim had a fractured skull, another missing eyes, and one woman was found without her tongue. Strangely, radiation traces were detected on some of their clothing. Soviet authorities labeled the deaths as caused by an unknown compelling force, leaving more questions than answers. Over the decades, theories have ranged from avalanches and secret weapons testing to UFO encounters and interdimensional phenomena. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most unsettling unsolved cases in modern history, a chilling reminder that nature, or perhaps something beyond it, still holds terrifying secrets. For decades, astronomers and researchers have reported the presence of a mysterious object orbiting Earth, known as the Black Knight satellite. Some claim it has been circling our planet for thousands of years, far before modern satellites were launched. First detected in the 1950s, strange signals were allegedly intercepted, broadcasting from the object in an unknown language or code. NASA dismisses it as space debris, but photographs taken during shuttle missions show a large, oddly shaped, dark object drifting above Earth. Ancient myths about watchers from the sky have been linked to this satellite, suggesting it could be an alien probe observing human civilization. Whether advanced alien technology, a secret military project, or just space junk, the Black Knight continues to fuel speculation. Could Earth have been under surveillance long before we even looked to the stars? On March 13, 1997, thousands of residents across Arizona reported an enormous V-shaped formation of lights, silently gliding across the night sky. The craft was described as so large it blocked out the stars above. Witnesses ranged from ordinary citizens to police officers and even the state's governor. For years, officials dismissed the event as flares dropped by military aircraft, but the sheer size, silence, and precision of the lights made this explanation seem hollow. Eyewitnesses insisted the object was a solid, structured craft, not flares. Video recordings exist, but none fully capture the overwhelming scale described. Even more chilling, many locals reported feelings of being observed as the lights passed overhead. To this day, the Phoenix Lights remain one of the most widely witnessed UFO events in history, forcing many skeptics to reconsider the possibility that humanity is being monitored. On the night of February 25, 1942, just months after Pearl Harbor, Los Angeles was gripped by fear. Air raid sirens wailed as unidentified objects appeared in the sky, prompting anti-aircraft guns to unleash over 1,400 shells into the night. Searchlights crisscrossed the heavens, locking onto a massive glowing object that hovered silently, refusing to fall despite the relentless barrage. Thousands of civilians watched in terror, believing the city was under attack. Yet no enemy planes were ever recovered, no wreckage was found, and the official explanation blamed war nerves and weather balloons. But photos from that night show a glowing craft illuminated by searchlights, seemingly invulnerable to military firepower. What exactly hovered above Los Angeles that night? A foreign weapon, a mass hallucination, or something far stranger, observing humanity in one of its darkest hours? In December 1980, one of the most compelling UFO cases in history unfolded in Rendlesham Forest, England, near a US Air Force base. Over several nights, multiple military personnel reported seeing strange lights descending into the forest. When they approached, they encountered a metallic craft glowing with strange symbols etched into its hull. One officer claimed he touched the craft and felt a surge of energy pulse through him. The next day, he drew the symbols from memory, many resembling ancient runes. Radiation readings around the site were far above normal, and trees appeared scorched as if exposed to extreme heat. The men were ordered to stay silent, yet years later, several whistleblowers came forward. Their stories strikingly consistent. Was this a visitation by something not of this earth, or an advanced technology test gone wrong? The Rendlesham Forest incident remains the British Roswell. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, reports surged across Europe and the United States of enormous black triangular craft silently hovering over cities and military bases. Witnesses describe them as the size of football fields, with 3 glowing lights at each corner and a faint hum of electrical current. Unlike the classic saucer-shaped UFOs, these triangles appeared methodical, moving slowly, almost deliberately, as if scanning the ground below. In Belgium, radar tracked dozens of these objects, while fighter jets attempted to pursue them without success. The objects easily outran and outmaneuvered the jets, defying every law of known aerodynamics. To this day, no government has taken responsibility or explained their presence. Were they secret military prototypes, or were they part of a fleet not built by human hands? The mystery of the black triangles still haunts UFO researchers worldwide. In March 1997, thousands of Arizona residents looked up to witness one of the most famous mass sightings in history, the Phoenix Lights. People reported a massive V-shaped formation of glowing orbs silently gliding across the sky, so large it blocked out the stars above. Entire neighborhoods stood outside in awe, pointing and filming. Yet no sound came from the craft. The US military later claimed the lights were just flares from training exercises. But eyewitnesses insisted what they saw was not flares, but a single structured object larger than a football field. Even the state's governor, initially mocking the event, later admitted he too had seen the craft and believed it was something otherworldly. The Phoenix Lights remain one of the most credible sightings in history, leaving a haunting reminder that sometimes entire cities share the same unexplainable vision. In July 1952, the skies above Washington, D.C. became the stage for one of the most dramatic mass sightings in history. Over several nights, radar picked up mysterious objects darting above the US Capitol and the White House. Fighter jets were dispatched, but every time they approached, the objects accelerated away at incredible speeds. Pilots described glowing orbs that appeared to play games with them, darting back and forth, always just out of reach. For the American public, panic spread quickly. Newspapers ran with headlines of flying saucers over Washington. Yet when Project Blue Book investigated, officials dismissed it as temperature inversions, causing radar errors. But those who flew those missions told a different story. They swore the craft were real, solid, and intelligent. For many of them, this was not just a strange night. It was the first true aerial battle with something not of this earth. Declassified military documents and pilot testimonies describe chilling encounters when fighter jets were scrambled to intercept unidentified craft. Radar operators tracked objects moving at impossible speeds, stopping in midair, then accelerating faster than any known plane. In one infamous case, a US Air Force jet locked onto a target, only for the object to vanish from the radar completely. Seconds later, the same craft appeared directly behind the jet, as if mocking its pursuer. The pilot radioed in a panicked message before his plane lost control and crashed. Official reports blamed pilot error, but fellow servicemen never believed it. Many whispered that the aircraft had been disabled by forces beyond human technology. For years, families of these pilots were told nothing of the real circumstances. These events raised one terrifying question. Were these encounters a form of silent war being waged in the skies, one America was powerless to fight? Blue Book wasn't just about military sightings. Thousands of civilians filed reports. Farmers, truck drivers, families who saw glowing craft land in fields or hover above highways. Many of them described strange beings stepping out of the light, tall figures with dark, oval eyes. Those reports never reached the public. In the files, they were stamped psychological disturbance or hoax, but the consistency of the descriptions couldn't be ignored. Different people, in different states, all describing the same beings, And then, curiously, many of those witnesses stopped speaking about it, some even disappeared. One of the earliest cases, hidden deep within Blue Book files, involved a military base in Montana. Radar operators picked up multiple unidentified objects hovering above a nuclear weapons facility. At the same time, guards on the ground reported glowing discs silently floating overhead. Then, without warning, the nuclear missiles inside the base went offline. Every single warhead was disabled, completely shut down in seconds. The official report labeled the incident as equipment malfunction, but the testimonies I read told a different truth. Something had taken control of America's most powerful weapons, and the Pentagon was powerless to stop it. Behind closed doors, the Pentagon wasn't laughing off UFOs. They were obsessed. Internal memos revealed their greatest fear, that these objects weren't Soviet, but something far worse, something humanity couldn't defend against. One chilling line stayed with me. If these craft can cross intercontinental airspace undetected, no nation is safe. Blue Book's real mission wasn't to investigate, it was to calm the public, while military intelligence scrambled to study the phenomena in secret. The truth was never meant to leave those locked files, but I saw them, and what they contained was terrifying. On paper, Project Blue Book looked like a scientific inquiry. A team of officers and analysts reviewed thousands of UFO reports, categorizing them as explained or unexplained. Officially, more than 90% of cases were dismissed as weather balloons, stars, or aircraft misidentified under unusual conditions. But the documents I saw told another story. Many of the so-called explained cases had witness testimony that directly contradicted the official conclusion. Pilots describing impossible maneuvers, civilians reporting silent craft hovering over neighborhoods, yet the files were stamped identified with no evidence. It wasn't science, it was damage control. The early 1950s saw a wave of UFO reports across the United States. Pilots, radar operators, even police officers filed accounts of strange objects in the sky, metallic discs, glowing spheres, and crafts that moved in ways no human technology could. One case stood out. Washington, D.C., 1952. Multiple unknown objects were tracked over the Capitol itself. Jet fighters were scrambled, but the objects vanished in an instant, reappearing miles away seconds later. The newspapers called it the Washington Flap. The files I read described it differently, a coordinated demonstration of power, and the Pentagon was terrified. Most people have heard whispers about UFOs, but few know the truth behind the Pentagon's investigations. Officially, the US Air Force created Project Blue Book in 1952 to scientifically analyze sightings of unidentified flying objects. In reality, it was far more than a research project, it was a containment operation. I remember walking into the archives for the first time, row after row of classified reports, photographs, and witness statements, all sealed away. The public was told this was about weather balloons or astronomical phenomena, but as I flipped through the files, it became clear they weren't looking to explain UFOs, they were looking to hide them.